More than 4.2 million people across the country defaulted on student loans between April of 2025 and March of this year. More from Town Hall.
Well, welcome to a special edition of WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. All your coverage you're ever going to need. News and information on all WVU sports. It's basketball, it's baseball, it's football. That's coming up. We got women's basketball, men's soccer, volleyball, you name it. It's there. Rifle. We cover it all. You can also download their app. That's the easiest thing to do. Download their app. Actually, all you have to do is go to the App Store or Google Play. How easy is that? And just put in WV Sports Nation. Our app pops right up, and you are good to go. And this is a special edition of WV Sports Nation. I'm your host for this segment, John Ferris. We have special guests with us. Women's basketball coach Mark Kellogg. We have Trent Connor is going to be with us, one of our senior writers and the beat writer for WVU women's basketball, and goes to all the tournaments and all that good stuff, all that coming up. And this segment for women's basketball in West Virginia for the Mountaineers is sponsored by Ask Vision Homes and Rocky Simmons. For over 3 decades, Vision Homes, they built hundreds of custom homes right here in Morgantown and the surrounding areas. Now, their expert team, here's what they're going to do. They're going to design and build a brand new custom-made home that fits your needs, your lifestyle, and your budget. Doesn't matter if you're downsizing, upsizing, empty nesters, whatever it is, they got a few. Best of all, they lock in your price before they start to build. Now, how cool is that? So you stay on budget. It's guaranteed by Rocky and his family. No land, no worries. Vision Homes can help you with that too. So it doesn't matter if you are a first-time home buyer, you're looking to upgrade, you want to downsize, you want to get your dream home, you're an empty nester, you're a new nester, it doesn't matter what it is. They have it all. Just go to Ask Vision Homes. Go to AskVisionHomes.com, AskVisionHomes.com. You invest just 1 hour with Rocky, and you're good to go. And they're going to walk you through their easy step-by-step home building process. They're going to answer any questions that you have. They're great. This is a family-owned company. Go to AskVisionHomes.com. And if anybody gets on a line, we got Mama Rocky there. She's run the place. She's got to tell them what is. You need anything, you go right to Mama Rocky, and she's going to straighten it out just for you. This is a family-owned business, 100% satisfaction. Just go to AskVisionHomes.com. That's AskVisionHomes.com, and we appreciate Rocky for that. Okay, let's bring in Coach Kellogg, the WVU women's basketball coach. Let's bring in Trent Connor. Trent, good to have you with us. Is Rocky with us, Dan? No, Rocky. Okay. Look, guys, I just want to start. Let me give everybody an overview why we love having Mark Kellogg on. You like winners? All the guy does is win games. It's unbelievable. Look at his 3-year track record, right? 25-8, 25-8, 28-7. This is his first 3 seasons. He's established WVU basketball as one of the Big 12's most consistent and feared programs. He gets in every tournament. Last year, he almost busted the door open to get to the Final Four, and he had a great team that has got some turnover going, but he always knows how to get these kids out of the transfer portal, gets those. He signs some young players coming in. Somehow he puts it all together magically in the mesh. I don't know how he does it, but joining us now, the one and only Mark Kellogg. I think he's the best, Trent, I think he's the best women's coach in basketball today at the D1 Power 4 level, Trent.
Yeah, I agree. And the resume speaks for itself. 3 straight 25-win seasons, Big 12 tournament title last year, and then hosting games in Morgantown. Coach, what stands out most when you look back on that stretch?
Yeah, I think appreciate it and good to be on as always, guys. Thanks, John, for having me. There's 3 main points from last year I think that come up. The first was the win at the Greenbrier. The Duke win when we ended up only having 5 players, and they were top 15 in the country. Game was on ESPN and everything. kind of the stars aligned for that one, I guess, and so much to come from the Greenbrier 5 game. The Big 12 tournament title, of course, and that was just our second one in our school's history. And then to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament in front of 14,000 people, so largest crowd we ever had. So, I thought there was some firsts, things like Greenbrier, which will probably never happen again in my college career, where you end up coaching only 5 players and having 5 available. But yeah, you're winning championships. I've said this now a little bit through the spring and summer, is really most of the boxes that a recruit would be looking for at this point, we can check off. So we have now our last 2 guards are playing in the WNBA. So if you want to be a pro, check, like we have those. You want to win championships, we did that. You want to host and play in front of big crowds, we've been able to do that. So just a lot of things, I guess, to continue the momentum that we built the first 2 years. As John alluded to, we still need to kick through that door and get to like Sweet 16s and Elite 8s and Final Fours, which we just haven't really done much in our school's history. So but I thought we were one step closer, so we'll keep building it until we do.
Yeah. One of those boxes is probably the culture of the program. At what point did you realize that the identity of this program was really established?
Well, I mean, I guess it's been building since year 1, so this will be year 4 now. But through the first 3 years, you just see it. But we're very specific in who we recruit, what type of character they have. I think a lot of cultures created by the people and their character. That's what, whether that's staff, players. Obviously, we're trying to find players that have a certain talent level, but also that meet the cultural and the character aspects of it too. And so when we're doing our due diligence to find the right ones that meet the standard in which we expect to operate here, it seems to work, and we don't ever want to give up on culture. If you give up on that, then you're probably trending the wrong direction pretty quickly at some point.
Coach, you had to replace a lot of players, a lot of frontline players, and every team goes through this. Obviously, now you've got the 5th year eligibility. I'll get to that in a minute. But as you're going through the portal and you're looking for transfers, it seems like every year you fill the holes you need, you get the right players, they all seem to mesh. What is your evaluative process when you're looking for players in the portal that matches what you need, and then how you get them to go to West Virginia?
Yeah, it's a very unique process now, and it's one that I think we're getting better every year that we go through the portal. In women's basketball 2 years ago, you had 30 days to enter. It seemed like it took a little while. We shortened it to 15 days. So we actually signed 10 players in an 18-day period this year. So we brought 11 to campus, signed 10 of them over 18 days. We only have 2 returners, so we signed basically the whole roster in that amount of time and went through those evaluations. And I've said a couple times, I think one day, because I'm like a general manager too now, and you're trying to learn that, and I don't have that skill set necessarily, so I'm kind of trying to piece it together. But I think I had like 13 or 14 different tabs open of different spreadsheets that, we're talking to this kid. If she comes, this is what it looks like. If she doesn't, and then this player chooses to come here, right? Or, we got this commitment, so now we don't need it here. Now what do we do with even our money in other positions? So there's philosophical questions that we have to ask as a staff and figure out what our plans are. And then it's just a constant kind of chess match. You're piecing it together literally day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute through that transfer portal time.
Yeah, and you guys didn't really chase any big names in the portal. Did the coaching staff or just the rev share, have a say in that decision? And, what was the process behind that decision?
Again, I think that's some of the philosophical stuff that I don't know. We'll get into the weeds on all of that. But yeah, there's certain ways to go. You can go dump a lot of money into one player, and then heaven forbid that player gets hurt and not available or doesn't pan out, then you may not have a great roster around the one, or philosophically, do you go spread it over more players? It really just depends. What positions do you value? Certain positions may make a little bit more money, but we think we got really good talent. So yeah, I guess maybe if you want to say they weren't the biggest of names potentially, but we've got some really talented players that have scored a lot of points. They've produced. So production is the term we use over potential. So potential just scares the heck out of me as a coach because it means you haven't done it. Production is much easier as a coach because now I have stats, I have film, and I know you've been able to do it. So we went for the most part production route. Now we do have 3 either redshirt freshmen or true freshmen who I really like. So I think we've got some great youth to this roster. We've got some older kids. The 5-for-5 may come into play a little bit because we have 6 seniors, 3 of which will be done for sure, and then 3 that may have the option to come back. So we've got to navigate that right now too.
So the 5th-year optionality. So there's no more red shirt, right? I mean, that's gone. Everybody's got 5 years eligibility. So there's no red shirt. There's no medical red shirt. You get 5. So how has that affected the building of your roster now, looking ahead for those juniors, incoming seniors who are going to have 2 more years of eligibility?
Yeah, no, well, it changes the game for sure. I've kind of made the comparison to the COVID year when all those COVID kids got the additional year. So now you're just going to have twice as many kids back probably in the transfer portal or using an additional year, which really kind of can affect your high school recruiting. So the 2027 high school kids now are probably the ones that are feeling it. And I have a daughter in that situation right now who's a 2027 high school basketball player who's going through this. And a lot of college coaches don't know exactly what their roster is going to look like. So it's hard to necessarily tell the high school kids what their role may look like because you don't even know what your roster is going to look like at this moment. So we're trying to go through those conversations with our current players by the end of the summer to see if they have any idea if they think they'll use their 5th year or not on the current roster. And then that helps us kind of go from there to recruit the high school kids, or maybe not recruit high school kids and wait till the portal opens.
So are you saying that that high school kids, it's tougher for them now because of the 5th-year eligibility?
Yeah, I would say for this year it is because there's so many college seniors that are basically taking their spot, right? College seniors should graduate, and then high school kids kind of fill some of those opportunities. But now when all those seniors are going to stay again, many spots and scholarship spots for a high school kid. So again, some of it might be philosophical for some coaches, but for the most part, I think production and age wins out most cases right now.
Mm-hmm. So how is that when you say it's affecting your daughter who's 27 high school? So she hasn't gotten the looks because, not to get personal, but just overall, because a lot of seniors are going to, incoming seniors are going to come back 5th-year seniors. So you're saying that's taken down the level of interest for high school incoming seniors that are going to be graduating in 27. Is that what I've heard?
Yeah, and I don't think it's specific to my daughter. It's just the easy one because I'm living that side of it as well. But her and a lot of her peers, I think, are feeling that a little bit as maybe opportunities aren't as plentiful as they would be in other years, or I think some of her peers have had offers that maybe aren't even there anymore because coaches are basically saying, hey, we just can't go that route because we need to save it for one of our own current seniors that's going to choose to stay, or maybe then we want to go back into that portal and stay old. And that's not new. That piece has been happening. But just so many more of these seniors are going to take up spots next year that high school 2027 graduates just aren't going to get as many opportunities, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, and I mean, as you guys have mentioned, the landscape's like ever changing, and you said so yourself, you're not used to being part GM, I guess. Was there anyone in particular or like one certain person that you leaned on for mentorship or guidance when you're tackling that new role?
No, not necessarily one person, but you call and try to pick the brain of all sorts of people, even like Mike Gansey, who was here, who was with the Cavs, at the point but I reached out to him just to try to figure out like, hey, how did you do this when, you're at that level, which is different than us too. And they have salary caps and those types of things. But yeah, you're just trying to find anybody, your coaching peers that maybe have done it, what's worked for them, what's working, definitely what not to do. And then other than that, it's kind of like trial by error here a little. Like one year, it looks pretty good. Another year, maybe it wasn't so good, or a certain situation, or maybe we handled one recruit really well and another one not so good. You're dealing with agents now quite a bit too. So that was new over the last 3 years or so, where agents weren't a part of our conversations in recruiting. And those have taken a pretty big seat, I guess, at this point at the table. The agents have.
Yeah, and I guess now to talk on the roster this year, Walton and Harris from George Mason, they kind of seem to fit that role of like a value addition. What did you see in those two players that maybe the rest of the country undervalued?
Yeah, I mean, well, Zaza first, Walton, averaged 18 plus, first team all A10 player, very productive, bigger guard, which we had been looking for. So, I mean, you're talking about like a 6 foot, maybe even a little taller, 6'1", wing player that can handle it, shoot it, score at mid-range. She can post up. I mean, just a very, very all-around, just solid player, rebounds it at a high rate. And then Kennedy was the point guard. So we brought her, and she can play off the ball a little bit too, but shoots it at 37%, had more than 70 steals, which fits us on the defensive end, to help kind of take some of the Jordan Harrison role. So she's done a great job, but just really good kids. Again, great character, came from a winning program, which was important.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned the length. You're taller and longer this season, which is something you haven't had in the past 3 years. Was that a point of emphasis this transfer portal, or did it just shake out that way?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a point of emphasis if you can find it. I would be the first to tell you I don't want length that's not productive. That doesn't do us any good, too, to have the all airport team that looks good walking through the airport but can't play. That doesn't help you either. But yeah, so Skylar Forbes will be like a 6'3", 4 player for us. May play the 5 some, but came from Marquette, was Marquette's leading scorer in the Big East. So you're talking about another player that's just really scored it. She's playing on the Canadian senior national team right now. She's at training camp with them. And then Kyla Ngodu, who played at UCF, who's another 6'3", 6'4", long athletic player that kind of kicked our butt at one point this year, had 21 points on us and 9 rebounds when we played him, but she's had a great summer. And that's just a few of them, but those are some that have some length. We've got a 6'6"-ish kid too that transferred in. So we have length. We've got a little more versatility on the defensive end than what we've had.
You're on a special edition of the John Fredericks Media Network. We're chatting, Trent Connor and I, with WVU women's basketball coach Mark Kellogg, one of the winningest coaches West Virginia's ever had, 3 seasons in a row, over 25 wins. And this segment is brought to you by WV Sports Nation. For all your West Virginia information, go to WVSportsNation.com, WVSportsNation.com, and go ahead and download their app there on Google Play or your favorite app store. You can get it, WVSportsNation.com. Download the app today. Trent?
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned earlier in the show about JJ Quinterly and Jordan Harrison, becoming WNBA players. How much does that show up in your recruiting pitch now?
Well, probably quite a bit, but I think, player development is a big kind of buzzword term that a lot of people, players, agents that use. They want to know what their role is going to be, how we develop players, what that looks like. And so we can walk them through the process of getting JJ Quinterly to where she is, Jordan Harrison to where she is, and then several of our players are still playing professionally over in Europe that have graduated the last couple of years. So, there's a development plan. A lot of the early part of the summer is skill development. We're getting a little bit more into a little bit of team stuff, but we still do skill work every day. So we break them up and they each have a skill coach on our staff that works specifically with their position, and they'll watch film with them. They're on the court with them, those types of things. So, but I think one of the most important things with player development is the players need to actually understand what they do well. Most do, some don't. Some, for example, may think they're a great mid-range player, and then we go pull up the analytics for them and show you the percentages, and then have to show them that, okay, yeah, you can get there, and that's a great quality to be able to get the shot off. But if we're not making it at a high rate, then maybe we need to look at getting to the rim or shooting the 3 or whatever the case may be. So really just trying to get our players to understand what their true skill set is and then how we need to go attack it, this time of year.
What was your toughest recruit this season?
I don't know if they're tough. I don't know if this equates to tough, but it's the ones that kind of make you wait.
Right.
That go maybe look somewhere else. You feel like you did a great job, or they want to take a couple more visits. The ones that are much easier, quicker, make you feel a little bit better are the ones that are here. They commit maybe while they're on their visit or shortly thereafter. And, just from the GM side, though, that's when it allows you to continue to build. When you have, players out there that you're waiting on, it kind of pauses. What do you do next? Or do you wait on that kid? Or do you just go recruit somebody else? And if they take it first, then they take it. And that's where some of those philosophical questions come into play. But, I don't know if difficult, but the ones that kind of stress you out a little bit are the ones that kind of take their sweet old time.
But there's an advantage to somebody that you're really after committing early, right? Because that shows a commitment, shows that, whatever they've seen about you and your program, like this is going to be their home, this is where they want to be, rather than the person that has to come back for 3 visits and talk to 10 other schools. right?
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, from money because you're not bringing in other people to time because then you can go call your other players you maybe were recruiting at that same position and tell them, hey, we loved you, but we got a commitment. And then it just helps you build the rest of your roster based on what that player decides. So yeah, it's definitely a snowball effect that saves a lot of time, energy, and resources. They'll make their minds up.
Yeah, and you mentioned Forbes earlier being from Canada, and then you brought in Shantae Murray from Canada, and I think Toomba's from Canada. Did that play a role having other players from that region, that country, in recruiting, Murray or Forbes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can a little bit. Forbes is a little bit older than the other two and did not play with them. Devine, Toomba, and Shante have played together, same high school up there in Toronto. So they were familiar with each other. None of them were like package deals necessarily, but you kind of get in with the program and, and they get excited about what we're doing. And, it's just a straight shot, 5.5, 6 hours up to Toronto. So it does make some geographical sense as well. And yeah, really excited about all three Canadians. Maybe we can keep the pipeline going here a little bit as we recruit further, but their adjustments North America, it's not a whole lot different once they get here, and a lot of the rules and everything are the same. And they've been playing against the American kids too a ton. So the transition seems to be pretty easy for the Canadians.
Is there a different basketball culture in Canada than you have here?
I think every country is a little bit different. I would think, though, Canada probably mirrors the U.S. pretty closely, and their level of talent is has improved just so much over the last little bit. But if you go look now at all the youth levels and even the national team levels, Canada, if you get to the NBA, some of our best players, our MVP in the NBA now is Canadian. So you're getting some elite talent up there. Yep.
Tell us about your the start of your schedule. Like, what are some of the key things that you look for? Some of the key games.
Yeah, I wish I could even remember all of them. I think we open with Rhode Island, maybe then George Washington at home. We go to the Bahamas around Thanksgiving. I believe we open with Florida, and then maybe have Notre Dame would be the following game if we were to win that one. We go to Georgia Tech. Harvard comes here. We go to Villanova, so to Philly to play them in a rematch of last year that they beat us here. So that will be a big opportunity for us. So Robert Morris. I mean, there's a bunch of them in there that I'm probably forgetting, but yeah, we think it's a good schedule. There's some power schools in there, some neutral sites, some good ones at home. Obviously, trying to prepare us for the Big 12.
Well, we went to the Bahamas. I think it was 2 Thanksgivings ago with the men's basketball team, and that was one of the best Thanksgivings that we had. We had so much fun there, and it's a great place to play basketball. It's a great atmosphere. Of course, you're in Thanksgiving, so you got that going on. You got football. You got all the football games are playing all over the place, but your girls are really going to enjoy that. That was a great. I think we were there 5 or 6 days, Coach Kellogg, and that was just one of the best. I guess you'd call it basketball vacations we ever had. And going to the games there is great because you're right up close. I mean, I think the first 3 rows of the stands are like you can actually talk to the players. It's that close, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it'll be great. It'll be a great trip. And I forgot about the Greenbrier. We do go back to the Greenbrier again and play Northwestern, Big Ten Northwestern at the Greenbrier. So no, good schedule. Bahamas will be great. We've been before, but it's a good tournament and a good opportunity Thanksgiving week to get down there. So maybe you need to come back, John. You might as well just join us.
You know what? We were thinking about that, looking at our Thanksgiving because we had just such a good time there. We just might do that. Might do that again. And I remember the other teams that came in. I think Louisville was there. This is 2 seasons ago for men's basketball, and I think they sold out every hotel, every hotel in the Bahamas. All we saw was Louisville Cardinal red. So people come, they follow their team. No doubt. On a special edition with Coach Mark Kellogg. He's the women's coach of WVU basketball. He's won 25 games in his first 3 seasons. This is going to be the season he kicks in the door, gets to that Final Four. This segment brought to you by Hope Gas. And hey, we got the Hope Gas Coliseum that you're playing in, so it's got to be by Hope Gas. West Virginia is for Hope. Learn more about their history and how they provide great service to our company and many others, and see how Hope Gas is improving the lives of the communities they serve. Hope Gas proudly provides safe and reliable natural gas service to about 140,000 homes and businesses throughout the Mountain State, including all of our 9 stations. They proudly serve West Virginia. More information, go to hopegas.com. That's hopegas.com. Trent, we got a couple more minutes. I know you got a couple more blockbuster questions, and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, I just what do you think? One thing about this group this year that will surprise people.
Oh, I don't know. Probably a little too early to determine that one, other than just the newness of it. So it's all going to be a little surprise from a personnel standpoint, just because you're not going to know too many of them. But I think it'll look a lot the same. I think we'll have the same defensive identity. I think we'll be a little versatile offensively. We'll shoot it at the 4 position a little bit more than we have been able to do since we've been here. And then just the length and versatility, as we've talked about, probably will be a little different than what we've had.
Yeah, and Mimi Wheeler was a really good post player last year, but maybe smaller than some of the post players. Are you going to rely more on post scoring this year than last?
Yeah, I think we'll spread it around quite a bit this year. It will just be different. Like Skylar Forbes, who we talked about from Marquette, is, literally like can shoot the living daylights out of the basketball, and the game comes very easy to her and natural. Will just look different than Mimi. Not that either one is better or worse than the other. Just they go about their business a little bit differently. So it will just look a little different. And then the length, as we've talked about several times, we're just much longer than we've been.
Yeah, and Gia Cook, the one returning starter from last year, just how does she fit in with this new group? Is she, doing a lot of the same things she did last year?
Yeah, she can. We've challenged her over the summer to really kind of think a little more like a point guard and be a point guard, which I think she'll play, some minutes over there as well, which she did some last year too. But and she's done a great job, really done a really, really good job. We know she can score. She averaged 15 a game last year, was our leading scorer. So yeah, it's all now the next steps in expanding her game and being a leader and being a little more vocal and, thinking like a point guard and then picking her moments to score. But I told her early in the summer, gee, I know you can score. I've seen you do it all year long. Now show me you've got the full package, and let's keep working on that. And she's setting up teammates and coming off ball screens and looking to share it and spread it. And so, yeah, really excited to just kind of see Gia's game kind of go to a next step, next gear.
You guys probably don't know this, but when her basketball career concludes, her dream is to be a sports broadcaster. So one day you might find her on WVSportsNation.com calling some of these games. You never know.
A lot of personality, so she might.
She's got.
If there's a camera, she may just find her way in front of it. That's for sure.
She is not short on personality, no doubt. I can see her being courtside ESPN like that when her basketball career comes to a close. For all of us, it does eventually. As the players, Coach Kellogg, really want to thank you for your time today and sharing that insight. If you're not a WVU women's basketball season ticket holder, you should do that. They're the most fun games. The Hope Coliseum at home, it rocks. I mean, I got to tell you, Coach Kellogg, those 2 games at home where you guys, were at home in the tournament, we had 15,000. Never in my lifetime did I think I'd see 15,000 people at a women's basketball game in West Virginia. And tell me that house didn't rock, Coach. It rocked.
Yeah, it was the loudest environment I've ever been in. And just to see the crowd forming, we had general admission for like 8,000 people. I didn't know if that was a great idea at first. And I backtracked off that one and said that was genius, whoever in our ticketing department, because it just formed lines early, and before the neutral game when Kentucky played James Madison, there was thousands of people waiting to get in just to get their seats for that game. So yeah, unbelievable environment, the best that I've ever been a part of. And I just hope now, John, that it carries over into this season. And, it won't be like that every night, and we understand that. But hopefully season ticket sales are going well and we can continue to just kind of grow the fan base.
Well, you keep winning. You're going to do that. You've created an intense amount of excitement and expectations around West Virginia University Mountaineer girls basketball. And I want to thank you, Mark, for your time. We're going to have you back certainly before the season starts. And I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank our sponsors, Hope Gas. Just go to hopegas.com And Rocky Simmons, your number one fan, Mark, is Rocky Simmons. He's your number one. He loves you, and he loves West Virginia University women's basketball. Go to askvisionhelp.com. Want to thank our senior writer and the beat writer for you, Mark. Who's your beat writer on women's basketball? So be very nice to Trent Connor. You're assigned to, there's only one beat writer for WVU basketball in Morgantown, and that's Trent Connor. Only got one. He's it. Coach, thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Trent Connor, thank you for all you do. More information, WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. Download the app Store, WV Sports Nation, or Google Play. Get up to date. Miss a day, miss a lot. Trent Connor, Mark Kellogg, thank you for being with us. Now back to regular programming on the John Frederick Media Network. Thanks for joining.